All right, so let's just dive right in. I think this is something we can all relate to. I know I can. That feeling of like, where do I even begin?
Oh, yeah.
When you're facing just this mountain of goals, whether it's at work or in your personal life,
Yeah.
or even just like trying to adult today.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. And we're tackling this feeling head on today because we've got a fascinating combo of sources to unpack. On one hand, we've got this insightful book. It's Thomas J. Buchholz's Create Crucial Insight.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, we've got Blaine Gates and his super down to earth YouTube channel, The Space Between Ideas.
That's a great channel.
It is. It's very relatable. And we're talking about, merging this really big picture state purposes kind of thinking from Buchholz with this surprisingly deep world of,
Fun with it.
wait for it, to-do lists.
Right. You wouldn't think it, but it gets really interesting.
It does. It really does.
It's amazing how many people, they underestimate the power of a well-structured to-do list. Like
Yeah.
you say, surprisingly deep.
Right.
Blaine doesn't stop at just jotting things down, though.
Yeah.
He takes us on this journey from, like, to-do list 1.0, which we've all used, let's be honest,
Absolutely.
to a whole new level of achievement with his 4D management coaching model.
Okay, so walk me through this. Like, I'm just starting out here. Okay, so most of us, we're pretty familiar with the standard to-do list, even if, like me, we aren't great at actually, completing it.
Right.
What makes Blaine's approach different? What's the secret sauce?
Well, Blaine, he realized pretty early on in his coaching career that just listing tasks, it wasn't enough. People would get stuck, not because they were lazy or incapable or anything, but because they didn't really get what they were going for,
Right.
Like, what are you actually trying to achieve?
Right.
It's like that saying, what is it? Something like, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Which, yeah, that sounds all nice and poetic, but
Right.
in reality, it's just a recipe for frustration and zero progress.
Ugh, you're telling me I've totally been there. I can't even count how many times I've gotten to the end of like a crazy long day, checked off a whole bunch of to-dos, and been like, wait, but what did I actually accomplish today?
Yes. Exactly.
Eh.
And that's the trap, right? That's the trap of to-do list 1.0. It keeps us crazy busy, but it doesn't actually move us closer to what we really want.
Yeah. Okay.
And Blaine, he saw this pattern over and over again with his clients. Actually, there's one manager he was working with in Brazil, and this guy was clearly capable,
Okay.
but he just kept hitting this wall. He just couldn't climb the corporate ladder. And that's when it clicked for Blaine. That's what sparked this transition to what he calls to-do list 2.0.
Yeah.
Which is more than just tasks, right? It's about managing those bigger projects. And this is crucial, those partnerships,
Yeah.
the people who are going to be essential to your success.
Okay. Yeah. The collaborations, making those connections for sure.
Exactly. But even then, even with this to-do list 2.0, Blaine noticed there was still something missing.
Okay. Now you got me on the edge of my seat. What was the missing piece?
It's all about the why. You got to define the why behind the what's. So we're not just randomly doing things, we're strategically achieving, right?
Yeah.
And that, my friend, that's where his 4D management coaching model comes in.
Okay.
Bridging that gap between just activity and true accomplishment.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's break this down. This 4D model. What are these mysterious dimensions and how do they take us beyond, that typical to-do list that's just not cutting it anymore?
All right, so picture this.
Yeah.
You're not drowning in a to-do list anymore.
Okay. I like where this is going.
You have a framework,
Right.
It's guiding your actions. It's leading you towards those actual, tangible results.
Mm-hmm.
That's the heart of it. The results dimension. Defining what success actually means to you, not just checking boxes.
So it's not just about checking things off a list. It's about aligning those actions with, like you said, a clear picture of what you want.
You got it. And this is where things get really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Because the next two dimensions, the decision and strategic dimensions, they're all about getting you there. It's like having this roadmap that helps you navigate all those decisions. And we all know there are a ton.
No, tell me about it.
Those crossroads you hit when you're trying to, actually make something big happen. Do you go left? Do you go right? Do you take a shortcut or the scenic route?
Right.
These dimensions, they help answer those questions strategically.
Hmm.
No more overwhelm. Just maximizing those chances of success.
So no more second-guessing every decision or getting sidetracked by those shiny objects.
Exactly.
Sign me up. Where do I sign?
And here's where Blaine's model, it goes way beyond even the most detailed to-do list or any project management software. It recognizes something crucial,
Okay, what's that?
that achieving big goals like the really juicy ones,
Mm-hmm.
they usually require more than just a plan.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
They require people.
People. See, now I thought we were talking about like productivity hacks and to-do lists.
Right.
How do people fit into this whole 40 management coaching model?
That's the thing, right. That's where the magic really happens.
Right.
See, Blaine, he realized that even with the best plan, the perfect to-do list, we often stumble when it comes to actually like making it happen.
Right. The execution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the number one reason,
Oh, tell me.
I try to do it all along.
It's a lone wolf approach. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Been there. Do not recommend that t-shirt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why he brought in this whole other dimension,
Okay.
the catalyzing dimension, bringing people together, building that momentum, and you know what? Tapping into the collective genius of a team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because this dimension, it reminds us that those big goals, the really juicy ones, they often need more than just like one person going at it solo. They need collaboration. They need delegation. You got to let go of that, I have to do it all myself mentality.
Oh, for sure. It's like, what is it? Those legendary bands, the ones that changed music history, they didn't get there with just one solo artist.
Right.
It was the synergy, all those different talents coming together.
Exactly.
It's that magic. Okay, but now that you mention it, I'm starting to see how this connects back to Buchholz and his whole state purposes thing.
Yeah.
With those core themes, the do, think, be, right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Blaine took those kind of abstract principles and he turned them into this really practical roadmap for like actually achieving things out in the real world.
Exactly. It's uncanny, isn't it? Like these two guys on totally different wavelengths, but totally in sync.
Right.
So let's break it down a little bit. When Buchholz says do, that lines up perfectly with Blaine's results dimension. Right. Taking action, making things happen.
Okay.
And then you got think, which connects to, you guessed it, the strategic and decision dimensions.
Yeah.
Where you're making your plan, you're figuring out the best path forward. And finally, we've got B.
Right. And B is all about like embodying those like leadership qualities.
Yes. And that's pure catalyzing dimension. Bringing the right people together, inspiring them, guiding them toward that shared vision.
Wow. It really is amazing how well those two approaches work together. But this whole time I've been thinking, how does this, shaping potential, how does it look different at different levels of like, a company? I mean, the CEO and like an entry-level employee, they're not exactly tackling the same to-do list every day.
That's a great point. And it's something Blaine actually addresses head on. He uses this super simple framework: C-level, mid-level, and floor level.
All right, so let's start at the top. We're talking CEOs, executives, those big decision makers. How does shaping potential translate to those kinds of leadership roles? Because, I don't picture them with a notepad, like, frantically scribbling down their grocery list and like their, tasks for the day.
Right. No, totally. At that level, at the C level, shaping potential is less about those individual tasks and more about, setting the overall vision,
Okay.
building the capabilities of the whole organization. Remember how Buchholz talks about programs?
Mm-hmm.
For a CEO or an executive, shaping potential might look like designing those big picture programs, creating those systems and structures and strategies that let everybody else shine.
It's like that, what was it, that saying about teaching a man to fish?
It's
It's
a-
not about doing it for them. It's about giving them the tools and the knowledge, the resources to succeed on their own.
100%. Or think of it like an architect designing like a skyscraper.
Yeah.
They're not laying every single brick themselves. They're creating the blueprint that makes the whole thing possible.
Right. It's about setting the stage for everyone else to thrive, providing those resources, that direction, that inspiration, so everyone else can reach their potential too.
You got it. And that brings us to those mid-level managers,
Yeah.
the ones who are always caught in the middle.
Oh, I know those guys. They're the ones juggling those to-do lists a mile long, trying to make everyone happy, keep everything on track. They've got their work cut out for them.
Yeah.
So what's this whole shaping potential thing look like for them?
So for them, for those mid-level managers, it's a lot about taking that big grand vision, the one from the C-suite,
Mm-hmm.
and they got to translate it into concrete action plans. They're the ones who are hiring the right people, making sure the resources are used wisely, setting budgets and making sure everything is running smoothly day to day, all aligned with those big picture goals.
Making sure everyone's on the same page.
So they're kind of like the conductors of an orchestra,
Yeah.
making sure all the different instruments are playing in harmony, creating something beautiful together.
I love that analogy. Because they really are that bridge, right?
No.
Between those big visionary ideas and the nitty-gritty execution of those ideas.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And that brings us to the floor level. We're talking about the folks who are, closest to where the magic happens.
Yes.
The doers, the makers, the ones who keep the wheels turning.
Yeah.
So for them, shaping potential, it's all about nailing those tasks, becoming masters of execution, right?
Yes, and honing their skills. You got it.
Because at that level, shaping potential might be about finding ways to work smarter, not just harder, taking on new challenges, growing that skill set, and becoming that person, the one everyone knows is reliable, the one who always delivers.
Okay.
It's about taking pride in what you do, whatever that is,
Yeah.
and constantly leveling up.
Man, this whole framework, it's like, it just makes sense. It's like a roadmap for success, but not just for like one person. It's for the whole organization, from the top down. I love it.
It's elegant, isn't it?
It is.
And here's the really cool part. Blaine doesn't stop there. He adds this whole other layer of thinking about like how we approach our work, how we approach our lives even.
Ooh, okay.
And I think it's really going to resonate with you.
Okay, so you were saying there's this other layer of thinking. With Blaine's approach, don't leave me hanging. What's this next level?
So he asked this really simple question, but it gets you thinking. Do you want to like ally with, or do you want to create?
Ooh, ally with or create. Okay. I like this already. I feel like that speaks to something, really deep about how we see ourselves at work, in the world.
Totally.
It's almost like philosophical.
It is.
Hmm.
And the cool thing is, Blaine ties it back to those three levels, remember? C-level, mid-level, floor level.
Mm-hmm.
He's not saying you're like stuck in one category forever, but it's about knowing yourself.
Okay.
What are your instincts? Are you someone who gets energy from supporting someone else's vision? Being that like ultimate wingman or wingwoman, helping them really reach their full potential.
Okay.
That's that ally mindset.
Right.
Or are you driven by this like inner fire to
Mhm.
build something totally new, forge your own path, be the one calling the shots, bringing your own vision to life?
Right.
That's creator path.
I can see how this lines up with those like classic personality types, right?
Totally.
The team player versus like the entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's deeper than just like what your job title is, right?
Way deeper.
Yeah.
Because you could be an ally within a creator role or the other way around.
Okay.
Let's say you're that floor level employee we were talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Totally killing it with the day-to-day stuff.
Okay.
You could be an ally. You're finding that satisfaction in being the go-to person, the one your manager can always count on.
Right.
Or you might be a creator at heart, but you're using this position to learn, to experiment, maybe even starting a side hustle that's like really aligned with your own passions.
So it's about knowing what really lights your fire.
Yes.
Are you energized by like helping someone else succeed, or do you need that autonomy, that ownership to really feel fulfilled?
100%.
So I'm wondering, are there clues within like the 4D model itself that might point someone toward one path or the other?
Totally.
Could you like connect the dots for us?
Okay, so let's say you're on that ally path, right? Your results dimension. It might not be about like hitting your own personal targets. It's more about being part of something bigger, seeing how your work contributes to a shared goal.
So for an ally, the sense of accomplishment, it comes from that team effort.
Yeah,
Knowing they played a key role in someone else's success.
exactly. And then there's that strategic and decision dimensions. This is where an ally might really shine because they get the leader's vision, They anticipate their needs and they're offering solutions that are just spot on, perfect alignment. They're not necessarily the ones making every single decision, but they're the trusted advisors.
Right, the ones behind the scenes making sure those decisions are the best ones.
Exactly. And the catalyzing dimension, this is where they really thrive because it's all about creating that team harmony, that collaboration, making sure everyone feels heard, even when things get a little crazy.
Right, which, let's be honest, it happens. Okay, so we've talked about allies. What about the creators out there? How does their 4D experience look different?
Okay, so for creators, their results dimension, it's all about bringing that vision, their vision, to life,
Okay.
no matter what their job title says.
So they're the ones who see a problem, they're like, nope, I've got a better way, or they
Yeah.
see something missing and they're like, I'm going to fill that gap. They're driven by that like need to create.
Yes,
Yeah.
to make their mark. And when it comes to like the strategic and decision dimensions, forget about it. They're comfortable taking those risks, experimenting. They know sometimes you got to fail to learn,
Right.
They're not afraid to go against the grain, challenge the status quo. They'll forge a new path, even if it means a few bumps along the way.
They're like, bring on the bumps. I'm going for it.
Exactly. Exactly. And that catalyzing dimension, for them, it's about getting people excited about their vision, building a team of people who are all in, just as passionate.
It's like building a movement, right?
Yes, getting everyone on board, turning that spark of an idea into something really impactful.
I love it. What I love about Blaine's whole approach, it's not about putting people in these rigid boxes.
Right.
It's about realizing we all have that potential to be both the addict and the creator.
Yes.
And those roles, they can change over time, right? As we grow, as we learn.
Absolutely. And the real power, the real magic, it comes from understanding yourself. What are your strengths? What are you passionate about? And then you align your work, your projects, even your personal life with that.
Hmm.
And that's how you unlock that feeling of, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
What a fantastic takeaway. I mean, this whole deep dive has just given us so much to think about, from to-do lists to collaboration to this whole ally versus creator thing.
Right. It's powerful stuff.
I feel like I have a whole new toolkit for like approaching my work, my life, everything.
Me too. And I hope everyone listening feels that same way. Inspired, empowered.
Yes. To everyone tuning in, thank you so much for joining us on this wild ride. Remember, ally or creator, the power is yours. Until next time, keep those aha moments coming.